This is Baggies View. Coming up, we take a look ahead to the game against Arsenal, plus a look back at where it went wrong against Liverpool. Hello and welcome to Baggies View. I'm Paul Bradley and I'm joined in our Fort Dunlop studios by West Bromwich Albion correspondent Chris Lukowski. Hi Chris.
Hello.
Well, we're going to take a look ahead to the Arsenal game at the Emirates at the weekend. How are West Brom going to approach this game?
Well, I think they'll be as they are. The one thing you will get at the Emirates is a lot of time to play. They're one of the teams, Arsenal, where you need to be careful with possession. You have to almost match them in that respect and try and play them at their own game. They are very good with the ball. One thing West Brom have worked on a lot this season is organisation when they haven't got the ball, being in the right place, being in the right position. It's something they were a little bit careless with when Roberto Di Matteo was manager last year. It's something that Roy's worked on. It's made them a lot more solid, and I think actually it might help them a little bit against Arsenal. But of course, you know, Arsenal are in a great peak of form at the moment. I think 7 out of 8 games they've won. So it's going to be incredibly tough.
And of course, Robin van Persie is on a really fine run of form, scoring goals left, right, and centre at the moment. From West Brom's point of view, how will they cope with him? And also, what's the latest on Paul Scharner, someone who may have been used to help look after a player like that?
He's got 28 goals in 27 games, which is a phenomenal record. The simple answer is that there is no way of combating him in the form he's in at the moment. Albion have just got to... one of the things they can work on is cutting out the supply to him. It's something Liverpool did very well, actually, against West Brom last week. Lucas Lever played in front of the back four and he cut out all of the supply, and Albion didn't support their strikers enough. And if Albion can do that against Arsenal, which will be a huge ask of them, they give themselves some chance. But as you rightly point out, he's on fire at the moment, and I'm not really sure what the answer is to stopping Robin van Persie, but he's certainly the man to watch.
And what about Paul Scharner? Have we got any latest news on if he'll be playing or not?
Well, Paul's not going to play. He's got this knee injury, which flared up on Saturday, and it wasn't actually the injury that kept him out of which fled when he was with Austria, but it's going to be one that's going to keep him out, and it's a shame because Paul doesn't maybe offer a lot going forward, but he does add a bit of discipline to Albion's midfield in front of that back four, and they are going to miss him, and I think Joseph Malumbu will miss him as well. But you know, they've got to get on with it. They've got players who can come in. James Morrison came on against Liverpool, did very well. Graham Dorrans again didn't play too badly either. They both gave Albion a bit of impetus towards the end of that game. So there are replacements in mind, but it will be a blow to have him out for however long he's out for.
And lastly, Chris, just a quick word on Liverpool, the defeat against them, obviously. What went wrong? And Peter Odemwingie as well, because he seems to be out of sorts at the moment.
Well, the Liverpool game, as you rightly say, they didn't turn up really. I mean, Liverpool, to give them credit, they performed reasonably well. Certainly Suarez and Lucas were the two who really stood out. And Albion won the back foot very early on, conceding the penalty and then conceding the second when they were trying to chase and equalise. And you know, unfortunately, there are teams that have so much ability in the Premier League, and Albion are going to come unstuck against teams like that every now and then. Peter Odemwingie, well, we it would be great to get into his head to find out what goes on inside it at times, because last season he went through these phases of looking completely unplayable where he was outstanding, and then he went through a few games where there was a lull and he didn't really perform, and it seems to be happening more and more sporadically this season. You could argue that he played well against Wolves when he came on and against Villa, but he's not done it enough this season. He's signed a new contract, and the supporters are tolerant up to a degree, but when a player signs a new contract and he's the highest earner and he's given the impression that he's not really getting involved and he's not really creating opportunities or space for himself, it doesn't reflect well. And Peter, it's a conundrum for Roy Hodgson. He needs to get into Peter's mind and try and get those performances that we saw out of him last year. He needs to do it this season, because it's not going for him at all at the moment.
Okay, Chris, well, thanks for your thoughts today, and thank you for watching Baggies View. We'll be back same time next week with more from West Brom.